Every year in Oakland, the most popular news story is the death count, those who have been killed by violence. In 2003, there were 114 homicides in Oakland. At the time of this recording in early October 2004, there were 68 people who have been killed by violence.
We take for granted homicides in Oakland. You know, we read them in the newspaper, they end up being a stat, they end up being a number. You know, when you look at each one of these crosses and you have some idea about who the people are, I mean, this isn't just a number. These are people's lives. These are people's lives are lost. This is somebody's kid. This is somebody's mom, somebody's dad. Since the crosses have gone up, I've received phone calls from various mothers of various homicide victims. That's been very moving because they end up sharing the stories about their daughters and sons, and that's real moving. And to hear the pain that they've endured and this is their loss is very moving.
Greshonda Williams was 16 when she got shot last week. Now Greshonda's family has to deal with this tragedy.
My sister got shot last night. She was 16 years old. Y'all can see the bullet holes up in the wall right here. And then we wrote on the wall, just rest in peace. Just want to celebrate her memorial. She got shot once, but it went through her body and tore up her whole inside. And y'all see how big them is? And they went in her body.
Are we getting used to violence? Are we getting used to seeing the letters R.I.P?
Violence in Oakland affected my life in many different ways because I can't just walk down the street anymore and like go to the store by myself because I don't know if I'm either not even be shot out but just be an innocent bystander, somebody getting shot.
Yeah, people shoot people just to be shooting people. People shooting people to get rid of competition over weed, drugs, you know, stuff like that. I think that's why it's so much violence, and people just don't care. I mean, even though they see it on the news, they say it's so much violence, but you're contributing to it, you just don't care.
You hear on the news every day, you know, young kids are getting shot just standing in front of their houses, you know, and I think about that and it's like, man, I can't even stand in front of my house, you know, and just chill on a hot day or on a hot night and eat ice cream, you know, just stuff like that. So it makes me have a different perspective on life.
I feel like it just has become part of the norm, part of the culture, and it really shouldn't be. Violence should be a surprise, but it's not. It's part of everyday life.
All right, I was walking from my auntie house, right, from 90th, and then when I was walking on East 14th, I heard like 6 or 7 shots, and then as soon as I got to 94th, I seen a bunch of cops right here on 94th, right? So then I walked down here because my brother usually kick it down here, so I thought he might have got shot or whatever. So then when I came here, my brother was all right, but like some of my friends got shot. Yeah, and that's what happened.
I also have been a victim of violence, but I survived.
When I was 12, I was in that parking lot walking home on my way over here, walking home. And another student from my school, we walked up and then he wanted to fight me or whatever. And I was like, I'm trying to go home. And then he hit me. He wound up pulling out a knife and stabbing me 4 times. And then I didn't realize that I was stabbed, and then when I found out, I tried to run, and he stabbed me twice in the back, and then I just fell out in the middle of the street, and then somebody wound up helping me from the middle of the street, and then I laid on this pole, and then the ambulance came and helped me out, and that's basically how violence has affected me in my personal life.
I'm just looking at some of the names. There's some of the folks who just died were folks who died as a result of gang violence. I can see some of the names there. I think the ones who died the 3rd of this month. Looks like Ulysses and Teresa. Jason was the 3-month-old kid who was apparently left in a house, and the mother's accused of putting on the gas and sealing the house up, so the child died in that context. Mario was a tow truck driver who was responding to a call over near Lake Merritt off of a lake shore and was killed as a result of that. Nima was the kid who celebrated his 25th birthday and his graduation from UC Berkeley. and ended up going to, went out with some friends at Rockridge and on off of college, and was robbed as he walked out with his friends that night. Stephanie was a nursing student at Merritt who just was in a wrong place in the wrong time. You get a sense that these crosses have life to them, because these are people's lives attached to them. They're not just a regular. There's just not a cross, and these are people behind these crosses.
Every day I pass this, and I stop and notice the new crosses that are added, and it just makes me think about what a major concern the violence is in this town.
I actually think that people that walk past, the citizens that walk by, you know, it would bring a change in their hearts maybe. You know, maybe a youngster will walk past and say, well, you know, this is from violence, and it'll change their lives, you know.
You know, I think people, number one, need to have a value for life, and number two, we need to have more respect for each other, and number three, we need to learn how to handle, to discuss things without taking it to violence all the time.
Open people's eyes, show them that this is a problem, show them that they need to do something to stop it, or else it's just going to keep on growing, because if nobody keeps doing nothing to stop it, I mean, we're going to have a whole generation of people pretty soon that won't care anything about violence, and then instead of hundreds of people, about 100 people getting killed every year, we'll have about 1,000.
If violence can start, it can stop. I think more youth need to get involved in speaking out about violence, and more people who's been involved in violence need to speak out and tell others that it's not cool to kill your own race or other races, because, I mean, violence, all you're doing is killing another life. You can't bring that life back.
The cross that was just put in is for my cousin, Devon Livingston, that was killed on the 21st of September.
14 years old. If the crosses are a stark reminder, or maybe a catalyst for somebody to change their own minds about the way they approach life, the way they approach anger, the way they approach anything, I mean, those are kind of, if that would transform somebody, I mean, that was kind of the catalyst for why the crosses are put in there, so.
Why did I survive? My cousin didn't. Why did I survive? Her sister didn't. Why did I survive? All these people didn't. Aren't we supposed to be the future?